All right, on the Johnson Auto Plaza hotline, we're pretty pumped up to talk to a guy I don't think we've heard from in quite a while, and it's the one and the only, and I'm calling him a Bronco legend. It's Clinton Portis joining us. Clinton, you're on with Zach By and another former Bronco running back, Phillip Lindsay. Thanks for joining us, man.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me. How y'all doing?
Yeah, we're doing great, man. We're pumped to be talking to you, and our listeners, want to hear from you. And I'm just curious, man. You had 2 years in Denver, but you packed in like a career's worth into 2 years.
Wow.
As you reflect, how do you remember your time in Denver?
My time in Denver was great, man. I think I was just so low on the totem pole during my career there. I had so many veterans, so many great guys ahead of me, the Rod Smiths, the Shannon Sharps, Eddie Mack, Greasy. I mean, then you go to the defensive side of the ball, Al Wilson and Delta, all those guys. It was just one of those periods where I felt like I didn't have any responsibilities. All I had to do was play football.
Clinton, with that being said, with that question, man, of culture, right? Some people nowadays, they don't believe in culture, and in college football, it's just, I don't think there's culture, even being done anymore. But for the Denver Broncos, do you think it's important to build the culture here before they start to really win games?
Well, I think you always have to have culture wherever you are. I think the hard thing about culture is there's so much change now compared to back then. Everything in the organization kind of had been around at the time that I got there. It was a Super Bowl staff. You had everything kind of in play, and all of a sudden, Houston come in and steal the OC and Ray Rhodes. You start having change when other organizations come in and take huge pieces away. Coming to get Coobs, I think was huge. And if you look at the organization with Mike and Coobs, I think what they had was a great combination of two brilliant minds. And all of a sudden, you take that away, and it takes time to recover. Then you get Champ and Payton, and they come in and win a Super Bowl. But again, just as far as camaraderie, as culture, that locker room, you don't have vets in the locker room to establish culture anymore. And then the keys are kind of turned over to whoever the new face or the new big pickup was. I heard you guys talking about Bo Nix and kind of already giving him the keys, and he hasn't played it down. It's like, oh, he's going to be starting. I just heard you say week 2, week 3, and I don't think it happens that quick. Especially for a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think they need to work for that opportunity and deserves and get the trust of your teammates and the organization before you just push them on the field because fans have the urgency to say, hey, we got this guy, let's play him. You gotta know in your mind or in your heart, like, this guy is the one that's going to take us over before you put him on the field.
What a fascinating a response there. We're talking with former Denver Bronco Clinton Portis. Clinton, there's a lot of people, man, who believe that if you stayed in Denver and were a part of Mike Shanahan and you guys were tied together for years, that really sky was the limit, that there was no limit. How do you view, and you were great in Washington. I mean, you had 4 separate 1,000-yard seasons in addition to what you did in Denver, but do you ever allow yourself to use your imagination of what that would have looked like if you were in that Shanahan offense?
Sometimes I sit and think about, again, Coobs was gone regardless. So what's that offense without Coobs? What kind of numbers come after Coobs leave? Coobs was gone to the Texans. So if you could have kept everything in place, I think it would have been great. But again, with the breakup, I don't really think Coach Shanahan, until Kyle came along in Washington, where he kind of had to establish himself and get his foot in the door before he turned into the Kyle Shanahan that's out in San Fran with that run game. Losing Coobs, I think, was a big part of that because Coobs kind of ran everything when I was there. Mike was the guy, the godfather the voice over everything. But Coobs kind of ran the offense and kind of, the tempo of the team. So to look and say, hey, man, what could have happened, what would have happened, it's different. Of course, you love playing with the guys. And the trade happened so quick. And I was so young. It was just one of those situations. You're like, I never asked to be in this position. Then I'm in the position and I get the opportunity. Like, we could have squashed all that and never even put me in the position. But that was kind of a choice the organization made. And then once that choice was presented, it was like, man, I don't know if they appreciate me here. And you kind of start thinking about, well, this is the only other place I would have went, because I felt like everyone else passed over me in the draft. The Redskins were the only team that didn't have a first-round pick that year. They traded their pick and got Patrick Ramsey in the second round. So everybody else I kind of felt like passed over me. And everything aligned for just that one place that I say I could have and would have been interested in, and it happened.
And I think you kind of answered the question, Clinton. But after the back-to-back 1,000-yard years, 1,500 yards, like as a running back, kind of pisses me off talking about it with you that Denver decided to move on. And it ended up working for both sides. Both sides, were in good hands. But were you caught off guard? But after the 2 years of having a great 2 years with the Denver Broncos, were you caught off guard for them trading you?
I was. I was at Pro Bowl when Adam Schefter broke this report about me being traded. I was at Pro Bowl representing the Denver Broncos, and 3 weeks later, I was traded. So it happened so fast. It wasn't even one of those things that you get to ponder upon. It was just one of those situations. I think the organization was set in their ways to say, hey, we can find another back, and that's going to be too expensive. And then, in the final hours, it came down to, hey, no, we can make this work. And it was just kind of already like, dang, we could have made it work from the beginning. I never wanted to leave Denver. And then the opportunity came, So with that being said, it was like, if we could have made it work, I think the fans was great. The city was great. The team was great. The camaraderie, the culture on that team was great. Everybody did everything together. And to come in and kind of make it a smooth transition with TD retiring, with Shannon Sharp retiring, and those guys kind of hanging up their cleats to the transition that came with me becoming kind of the face of the offense and the playmaker, and Jake coming in and kind of being a big addition to that team. It was just like, man, you got me and Jake and the play action passes, and all of a sudden I'm gone.
Yeah, crazy. We're talking with Clinton Portis, man. Love that you're giving us this time today, and we're learning here as you're giving us your responses. And unfortunately, we're up against it, but we have time for one more. We put it out there on social media and our text line to, hey, if you have questions for Clinton, hit us up. And there was a handful of the same one asking, what is your favorite memory as a Denver Bronco?
I think everyone wants the answer of the 5-touchdown game, and that was great against Kansas City. But my favorite memory would be us playing Arizona, the Arizona Cardinals, the last game of the season, my rookie year. And anyone that was in Denver or anyone that knows the story know that I was 5 steps away from knocking on Coach Shanahan's door to tell him, hey, bro, I'm hungover. I can't play. Like, I'm sick. I'm throwing up. Like, I can't play in this game. And Shannon Sharp stopped me and was like, bro, what you doing? Like, that's not his problem. You have to be a professional. I'm 21 at the time. No clue what the requirements are. Yeah. Just knowing I don't feel well. And Sharp kind of, made me contrast whirlpools and go out and run. and, I'm throwing up all over the sideline and pregame, and I come out, and what I think was my best career game was that game, because I knew the conditions I was playing in, and I had like 220,
228
or something. Yeah, I had 228, and it was like a video game. Like, just everything was slowed down, and I'm laughing and playing around. It was one of those games like
playing free.
Under these conditions, I just performed like the sky was the limit at that time. You like, man, I could do anything. But I had such great teammates, man, that took pressure off of me and allowed me to go out and just be me. And you always look and say, dang, man, if we could have stayed together, if they keep that team together, how does it turn out? But, Coach Shanahan ended up leaving. I think you moved on from Jake and drafted Jay shortly after. The receivers changed. Rod Smith became Brandon Marshall. So it was a lot of change that happened in a short time, in that short time frame. But, man, my memory, and I will always be grateful, and that's why I'm thankful for having the opportunity to come back and participate and give back to the youth.
Clinton Portis, man, that was a great story. And all you did that Sunday against the Cardinals was average 9.5 yards a carry on 24 carries.
My man was tearing them up.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Clinton, we appreciate your time. Your fans in Denver love hearing from you today. So thanks for spending some time with us.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
All right, there he goes, the one and the only Clinton Portis. I want to react to something he said coming up next.